You're listening to a special interview segment from the official podcast of WrestlingNewsSource.com.
Okay, folks, we're going to take a little break from our regular show right now. We're going to have a special interview segment from WWE Tough Enough. He was one of the contestants in the show, known as Ryan Howe, also known as Diamond Steel. And not sure how you feel about the other nickname that most people would like to know you as.
The unmentioned nickname shall remain anonymous for all the listeners.
Well, for those who don't know, I hope it's okay if we say it, known as skid marks by Bill DeMott. So, Ryan Howe, thank you for joining us. Thank you very much for joining us on the show.
Absolutely, guys. No problem. How's it going?
Going pretty good.
Doing
How are
good.
you?
All right.
Awesome. Having relaxed time and kicking it back, taking it easy.
That's right.
Very nice. Okay, so your experience on Tough Enough, obviously, a lot of people will watch that show. You got I'm assuming you got a lot of fan support throughout the show.
Oh, absolutely. It's been incredible. The fans, the feedback from them alone was worth any crap that Bill DeMott tried to put me through or anything like that. The fans have really been supportive, and it makes me know that just the compliments and the support and belief in me and that kind of thing, just the genuine, hey, well, we know we'll see you on WWE TV soon and all that is, it's supportive because, in general, the world doesn't know me from Adam, so, all of a sudden it's just from that, my appearance there alone and the 5 weeks that I was on the show, or in the competition, I should say, was enough to make people see who I am, and I guess I'm a likable guy for most people anyway, unless you're Bill DeMott.
Yeah.
Or Booker T on some days.
Yeah, definitely had a little skirmish on one of the episodes with Booker T. Did you feel like they gave you an unfair chance, right off the bat when they gave you that nickname?
Yeah, I'm not one to make excuses by any means. In fact, I kind of like being the one that's given the harder time and has to work a little harder. That's just, in human nature, I like overcoming obstacles, that kind of thing. And I definitely felt going into that, it was one of those situations where you put kind of behind the eight ball from the beginning. And I kept making the reference, as the show went on, I was like, man, I'm not even behind the eight ball anymore. I'm under the damn pool table.
Right.
It seemed like it was just this terrible snowball effect in reverse. But
yeah, did you feel like Bill just didn't like you, or was it he just wanted to push you, or?
Absolutely. In a way, I think he kind of took a special interest in me, kind of went out of his way to give me an extra hard time. And that was from day one. So in a way, he might have just been trying to push me to see what I'm capable of and what I can, what I can go through. And, if any of them, especially Bill, see that superstar potential in you, they're going to make sure that you can start from the bottom, you know what I mean?
Yeah, some tough love,
so
huh?
You can take the tough love, exactly. So, it was one of those kind of double-edged sword things. In a way, the superficial light of it, it's like, I guess, he called me skid marks and he didn't like me and gave me a hard time and always picked me out and that kind of thing. But like I said, at the same time, any exposure in that kind of situation is good, and he put a lot of attention on me, so that was kind of cool. You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, definitely. Obviously they showed people having tough times on the show, otherwise it wouldn't be called Tough Enough. What mistakes do you feel that you made the most during the show?
I think overall, the biggest mistake I made was although I let me be me, I feel like I didn't fully shine through because I'm a real charismatic, funny, easygoing guy, and a lot of the time I felt so stressed out and worried about the goal in mind that was that WWE contract and winning, that all these little obstacles put in the way of the big obstacle, like that Booker or Bill or whoever would throw at me, or other contestants, dealing with Mike and Luke and those kind of guys. I think that kind of failed to let me fully just relax and do my thing. You know what I mean? I'm comfortable wrestling. I love it. When I go from show to show across the whole country, I would not trade it for the world. And, you could ask anybody in the locker room. I'm the nicest, most easygoing guy. And sometimes I felt like I was a little bit not, almost like I just didn't take in the whole situation. It was just it was overwhelming. I was overwhelmed a lot of the time.
It's a lot to process.
Yeah.
And also, if I could step back and relive it again, I would say another thing I would do is be a little bit less easygoing, because there's a difference. I mean, there's a fine line there with the easygoing and being a pushover. And I think trainers especially really tried to push, across that line. And it's like, where does the respect stop? And you can stand up for yourself and just human respect begin. You know what I mean?
Right. It seemed like during the show, for certain parts, if not just necessarily you, but if someone didn't perform up to the par of what they were expecting, they'd say, why aren't you doing this? But if someone tried to go a little bit over that, they'd say, oh, now you want to show up. Well, it's too late now. So it was kind of like lose-lose situation. Did you kind of get that sort of feeling?
Yeah, a lot of double standards on the whole, situation. I'm really glad you guys picked up on it. But, I mean, once again, it's the test, the mental test, if you can handle it. I don't know, how your language barrier goes on the radio station, but I don't know if you can edit this out, but I just kept saying a mind fuck, you know what I mean? With what you were put in, and I don't know how else to really put it, but it was definitely, Matt and I had this conversation. Him and Martin were probably my two favorite other guys on that show, to get along with, and charismatic, funny people, but we kind of both came to the conclusion that, we've all physically pushed and tested ourselves to different degrees, learning to wrestle, working out, bodybuilding, that kind of thing. But, I've been through, a lot in my personal life, and everybody else has their own story, but for some reason, that Tough Enough was it was almost like they along with the physical part, it was a mental, obstacle course, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was, jumping through hoops and not knowing where you're going and then told you jump through the wrong one, you know what I mean? It was just, a lot of double standards, and, what color is the wall? It's plainly, or what color is the sky? It's blue, but you say blue and it's wrong, so, that kind of thing.
Would you say it was harder physically or mentally? For you personally?
I would say it was dead on even, to be honest. I'd say for me, I would say for me mentally, thinking about it, because physically, I showed up in shape, ready to go. The routines, the warm-ups, the training, all that it pushed us, but it wasn't totally impossible. Some of these mental things, though, I've never given up on anything in my life, and sometimes I just threw my hands up in the air and was like, what can I do? What can I do in this situation? Absolutely nothing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never said I quit, but I would just I can't do anything to control this, and I can't do anything to be right, please these people, so I'm just going to do my thing, And if being me isn't good enough, I guess that's just too bad. Yeah. But, it's crazy, man, absolutely crazy.
Yeah, we saw, what happened between you and Michael on camera. Was there anything off camera? Did he treat you the same way, off camera they did on camera?
Yeah, well, first, to touch base on just the whole on-camera, off-camera issue, there was never a time that there weren't cameras on us. I did the math, and with all the cameras they had going,
24/7.
I figured in, for a week, they probably had about in the 40,000 hours of footage range to sort through and basically make a 40-minute show out of. So I admire the people in the production truck for that.
Having to sift through it and get the right angles. And
wow.
Exactly. Just trying to, nothing, like I said, they really did a good job of finding, really good little examples of how everybody acted in certain situations to get, our personalities across.
Right.
But as far as Mike goes, that was about it. Now, up until that, of course, we never saw the little behind-the-scenes interviews that you would see, when I'm sitting on a rock or Mike's sitting in the gym or whatever talking.
Yeah.
So we never, I never knew what his you could kind of tell by talking to each other that we didn't really see eye to eye on a lot. But it wasn't until the actual promo that I was like, wow, this guy. Actually, the day of the elimination, when he moved my bed out of my room and all that, I was like, well, he's just really insecure and messing with me or trying to. And then when we got to the promo, I was like, oh, he really doesn't like me,
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't belong here at all. And I'm like, well, that's too bad because I don't think he does either.
Yeah.
So I said, maybe, best guy win, and that's what it ended up being. I'm glad. People ask me, did you think about what you were going to say when he was talking and that? And, I learned my lesson. That was the second I told where I set the record for the most bottom threes. It's okay. But I learned from the first. That was the second one I was in. I learned from the first one. Austin had asked. I was last in line there, and he asked everybody, why are you here? And when he got to me, I kind of thought of what I was going to say. I mean, of course, on the spot, but I thought of it the first two people, and that's when he said, "Oh, that's a good bunch of bullshit."
Yeah.
I mean, come up at the top of your head. I hand it to you. It was a good bunch of bullshit, but I'm not buying it. So when Mike talked first, that actually worked out well because I just fed off everything he said. I mean, it was weak enough to where it really, really did make me kind of mad. Like, I was like, there's absolutely no reason for me to lose this thing. I just need to speak my mind and say why I'm here for real.
Yeah.
I know it's a competition, and a lot of people say, I'm not here to make any friends. But did you happen to make any friends or when you were there?
Like I kind of mentioned earlier, Matt and Martin were two people that really stand out as really exceptional people. Kind of that, a lot of the superstars I meet, we've met backstage or on indie shows and that kind of thing. The ones that have really done something with their, really stood out in the wrestling history and the top guys now and the top guys from back then, they've got a natural charisma about them. And, I've always felt like I had that, and I've been given that compliment a lot. And I kind of hold a lot of value to that.
Mm.
And Martin and Matt were two people that stand out just in general as just naturally charismatic, awesome people that, if you didn't know who they were at all, they could be sitting down like I am in the Mexican restaurant right now and just, talk to people and they'd be like, oh, wow, that's a cool guy, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And, so they were, and they've worked their butts off. They're totally, just absolutely phenomenal workers. Matt Cross is probably the best indie worker out there right now, by far. Done by far the most experience out of any of us on the show. And Martin as well has a lot of experience and really good wrestlers. So those two stand out in particular,
Okay. Yeah, very nice. Okay, what was one of your favorite memories? Like, I'm assuming that you watched the entire show, or at least up until the point you were eliminated.
Yes.
What was your favorite memory that wasn't shown on TV? Something that didn't make it to film?
Oh, that's a real good question. I was actually asked that for a radio interview yesterday, and it's I would say it was actually kind of early on the show. The night that John Cena came, was the guest there. A couple little stories about that. First of all, something to just show John Cena's character and something that's really cool. The producer had kind of been like, "All right, John, he had a pay-per-view the next night, and it was about a few hours away." And he said, "All right, John, it's like 8 or 9 o'clock. He goes, you can go in if you want." And he's like, "Yeah, I should, but that's all right, And somebody else said something about it, and he said, "Well, tomorrow's another day, and I'll worry about tomorrow. He's like, "I'm going to enjoy today." Mm-hmm. And so he went upstairs with us and went ahead and, poured some drinks for everybody and that kind of thing. And on the way upstairs, we was kind of in a big group, and Jeremiah and Luke, we all know, were kind of partied a lot together and had a good time. So they were drinking, and Jeremiah went to put a beer on some kind of nightstand in the hallway, and it fell down, broke, spilled, and I just went ahead and cleaned it up because I was kind of behind him, and it's just kind of how I am. I just wanted to clean it, and nobody else bothered to help me. But as I'm down there cleaning it up, another hand comes down and helps me. It's John Cena. He just takes time out of his day to help me clean up beer, and that was kind of cool of him. Like you got the number one superstar in the business for how long now? Just totally willing to do that without an issue. And that's the kind of guy he is. So I thought that stood out as pretty exceptional.
Right.
And furthermore, so later on, all of a half hour later, as we get upstairs, people make a kind of big deal out of Mike and I, our little heated rivalry, but truthfully, I think Luke and I probably dislike each other even more. And from the beginning, he did nothing but, because I'm the nice guy or whatever, he would make fun of me and cut these little promos on me as me, kind of mocking me,
Mm-hmm.
and whatever, he'd speak nerdy or use big words or stuff or whatever he does, I don't know. And so we're in this room, and Jeremiah, they actually showed the part where he cut out a promo as Austin, in front of Cena and everybody in the room with the table and that. And afterwards, he's like, "Now I'm going to do one on Ryan." As Ryan, he comes in and cuts this really dorky promo on how he's going to get his ass kicked by Cena trying to fight him, for the title. It's like, it's some pay-per-view or whatever. And everybody's looking at me like, you can do something about this. Well, up to that point, the only thing I'd known about Luke is he talked a lot about girls and drinking and partying, and that was about it.
Mm-hmm.
and did nothing but quote, like, completely unoriginal and quote movies. So I was like, all right, well, so I grab a bottle of Crown, and, as he's cutting a promo on me as me with Jeremiah as the interviewer, I run in with a bottle of Crown and cut a promo on him as him, and I can't really use the dialogue exactly used. That's probably why I didn't use it, because it was really, really vulgar language.
Not so PG for the kids.
But in the end, basically, I just kept pushing Luke away, and I was just being a total jerk, like just basically being a Luke character, what kind of came out as his character. Or character meaning his personality on the show later. And I hit him with like this crossbody off the pool table onto the couch, and at the end, I FU'd or a attitude adjustment Jeremiah through the like couch over there or something, and Cena's just busting up laughing, and he stands up afterwards and he's like, all right, guys, I learned in this business, you always go out on top. Nothing's going to top that. I will remember this. He pointed at me and he was like, you have fun. And by the way, during this promo, I downed this it was probably 3/4 of a full bottle of Crown in about 45 seconds. And I don't drink, period. So, like, very, very little. So, I downed this thing like 45 seconds, a minute, somewhere in there it was gone. And so I did the promo completely sober, but the rest of the night was a total blank, I remember jumping off a waterfall in a hot tub or something, And anyway, though, but, the crazy thing about it is to go to WrestleMania a little while later, and Cena remembered me by name, and somebody said, hey, you going to pour a shot to Jack later? And he's like, no. After that night, that man made me a Crown man. That's kind of cool to leave an impression like that. So.
Very nice.
Sorry, that's kind of a long story, but, it was neat. It's an example of, him. And,
yeah, that's what a lot of people want to know is, like, what happened when the, what they didn't see on TV. A lot of people want to know what happened around there. And, was Luke, like, pretty much what he was shown on TV as, or was that sort of just a little bit more, or is that him all the time?
Absolutely. He is like this 24/7,
wow.
like a really despicable Miz character,
Man.
And it's kind of sad, but I don't know. It's what really upset me was the first few episodes. I felt like failed to really put him across or portray him as who he truly was. And I don't know if it was as much just the fact that they had so many contestants on the first few episodes to show a little bit about that they couldn't get to it, but. I hated the whole, this is the prototype, he's great, this is what we're looking for, because more than anything, his attitude was just terrible. So I'm glad over time it kind of came to surface and they showed it, you know what I mean?
Yeah. If, there's talks going on, there's obviously talks going on about a possible next season of Tough Enough. If they were to invite you back, would you want to go back, and what do you think you would change the most about it?
I've been joking about that lately. I would absolutely go back. I don't want to. I hate to feel like I failed the first time or anything like that. But I'd never make excuses. So now the only thing to do is get to where I want to be, whether it's that way or another way. And that's be a superstar. And I think I made that pretty clear in the promo with Michael, and that's how I feel. So second season, I'd definitely come back. What I would do differently. Like I kind of mentioned earlier, I would definitely, I don't want to say I'd be a total jerk, you know what I mean, but I wouldn't be taking crap from anybody. Like, if it came to being kind of submissive and saying, okay, like letting it breeze by and being called skid marks or something like that, or standing up for myself and risk getting kicked off the show from disrespect, I'd risk getting kicked off because at least stands up for who you are, you know what I mean? So I kind of learned that the respect barrier really it's there, but it's not there in a situation like that, because you have to prove that you're strong enough to be there, and over-respect isn't going to get you that. So,
okay.
So, Bill DeMott, Booker T, Steve Austin, if you could pin one, submit one, and KO one, who would get what?
If I could, what's that now?
If out of the there's three guy trainers, like if you could pin one, submit one, and KO one, who would get what?
Okay, submission by far, Bill Lamont. You know how rewarding that would be? I mean, it'd be something vicious, too. It'd be like some, I don't know. It'd be an awesome submission move.
Very nice.
I'm thinking like a half-crab ankle lock or something, you know? Like, I'd invent something.
Yeah.
Something no one's seen before.
But, I mean, I know they say everything has been done, but I would invent something. I would plan this. Let's see. KO one. Oh, man. I'd have to say Booker for ripping my shirt. And Austin, I'd say Pin just because I want to give him a stunner.
Okay.
Two of them.
And one of our freelance writers, Justin Henry, he asked, this is kind of a controversial question, well, not controversial, but, questionable question, I guess you could say. When Booker T, picked you up and tore your shirt and stuff like that, and he called you skid marks, this is his question, Justin. Did you think about calling him convicted felon?
You know what? That's a good question, like, I didn't know. I've never been I knew a little bit about, like, a little bit of, certain guys, like, that are huge fans who I know a little history of, and Booker was kind of vague. If I'd known more details, I might have, but probably not been in there.
Yeah.
But, I mean, he was a little bit, he was pretty, what I really had going through my head was, I wanted to say, because I'd been saying to myself up to that point, if Bill, like, I kept targeting Bill, but I was like, if as much crap as he verbally gives me, if he physically, did something like just not in wrestling fashion, but something just out of line, I'd be like, all right, well, it's tough enough. If you want to stretch me out, do whatever you want. Get me in the ring and actually teach me something. I kind of wanted to say that to Booker, but then I realized, well, this is our first. I had no clue what I did wrong. He said something about rolling your eyes, but I was stretching.
Right.
So I had no clue what I had done wrong, and felt like I was like, well, I'm just going to leave this be, and I was hoping, and I had planned on 100% sticking around, more weeks or all the way to the end to win, and I thought, well, I'll get my turn to get back at him and prove to him that he can't be doing that shit to me, and unfortunately I never did, but like I said, season 2,
Mm-hmm. Okay, our final question for the night is, what's next for you? I mean, you've been obviously running some indie circuits, but like, could you see yourself maybe in TNA, Ring of Honor, or maybe even WWE developmental like FCW?
Absolutely. Right now, it's working. I mean, of course, working independents all over, keeping the name out there, to me, experience isn't in, I've worked this many years or whatever. It's in what you've done and like the actual amount that you've worked. So, I'm just working as much as I possibly can with everybody. And the goal here now is to probably get down to developmental. That's the first goal in mind. Work my way in there, figure that out. And, from there, it's just, hey, get a full-time wrestling career. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
do
definitely.
something overseas, whatever it takes. But use what little contacts from Tough Enough we made and roll with it. Ask the advice you need to ask. And like I said, that's what I'm thinking. I'm going to go to Tampa,
Yeah, definitely.
Eventually, so.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Ryan. We certainly do appreciate you for taking some time out of your day and joining us on the show.
Absolutely.
And definitely best of luck to you on whatever you do next. Do you have any upcoming shows for any of the listeners?
Yeah, there's this weekend. God, I can't even think of the acronyms like the promotions, but we're at 304 in West Virginia in Huntington, West Virginia on this Sunday, the 26th, and the 25th we're at RCW in Ohio. You can check my Facebook, and then we're also in Charleston that afternoon. So, I mean, it's crazy. But if you, all the fans, check my Facebook. I keep up with all the shows on there. I update them. And, also, if you have any questions, message me. I'll try to get back to everybody through messages at the least. So.
All right. Well, thank you very much. We do appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you so much.
Right.
And I'll, everybody keep in touch. I look forward to hearing from all the fans and stuff.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well,
all right.
So, all right. Well,
cool.
take it easy, man,
Thanks,
and
man.
Enjoy your meal.
I definitely will. Yeah, thank you, guys.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
Later, man.
Later.
Take care. Bye.